Name in News, Fox News Channel.
Thanks for staying with us. I'm Bill O'Reilly in the personal story segment tonight. One of the most controversial media people in the country is radio talk show host Michael Savage, heard on more than 300 radio stations across the country. Mr. Savage also has a best-selling book entitled The Savage Nation, and he joins us now from San Francisco. You know, we're both on the same radio station out in the Bay City, KNEW, and I was out there a few weeks ago driving around, and I heard you talking about the war, the secular war that we've been talking about here on A Factor. And you think that it's almost a much bigger orchestrated campaign than I've been defining. Why don't you give us your vision on that?
Well, the argument is being presented as though Christianity is not the issue. It's the issue of a few atheists or Buddhists or Hindus who are offended by the cross. That may be true, but that's not the larger picture. I'm sorry, you and I probably disagree on this in advance. To me, the radical left is attacking the church. They're attacking religion. They want religion wiped out. Now, I don't mean burn the churches. We keep hearing about separation of church and state. Well, first of all, we all know that's not written in the Constitution. The Constitution says there shall be no establishment of religion by Congress. But that means that there shall be no disestablishment of a religion by Congress, meaning Congress has to remain neutral on the issue. So, if a man is a Buddhist and wants to have a Buddha in his courtroom, I suppose he could have a Buddha for comfort. If he wants to wear a cross on his neck, or she wants to wear a cross for his comfort or her comfort, that's a religious belief. If a Jewish person wants to wear a skull cap in court as a judge, that's his religious right. It's his way of saying, God is above me. Now, the issue is, to me, it's cultural Marxism. What do I mean by that? What did the early communists do when they took over Russia? They overthrew the church. There could not be a strong church with a strong state. There was tyranny, it's true, from the Tsar, but the state wasn't as strong as the Tsar. Now you have a state, meaning the communists, replacing the church. So they had to knock the church out of the box. I see the same thing going on here, Bill. That's the fight today.
All right. I don't see it quite the way you do, but I'll get that to a minute. Now, you're not a church-going guy. That was another thing that caught my ear as I was riding around.
Not at all.
You don't go to church. You're not a real strong God guy. So why are you
no, Bill, I'm a very strong God-believing man. I just don't go to houses of worship except maybe once or twice a year, because whether people accept it or not, I am in touch with God all day long.
All right, that's fine, and that's your belief. But, you know, very rarely do you get somebody like you who was so angry about, well, you do that anyway. I mean, just to get attention. I understand that. No. Part of your shtick is to overstate. Look, you and I talked before. You're not a stupid.
Bill, there are things worthy of anger. Bill.
But you overstate to get attention, and that's a legitimate technique.
I think you understate to get attention. Well, that doesn't mean that you're doing it for effect.
If you think I'm understated, that just shows how overstated you are. All right, now.
Well, look,
let me
ask
my questions. Let me get my last one. I see it as an attempt to Western Europeanize the United States. The secularists want no judgments made about personal behavior at all. You see it as an imposition of an economic system, Marxism, on the country. See, I don't see that, because most of these people driving us love their big luxury houses, love their luxury cars, and their bank accounts. I don't think they want
as did the Leninists who had the big dakhas in Russia. Remember, there was never really all poor under communism. There was a very, very powerful class of the bureaucrats. They had the houses, they had the chauffeured cars, they had the bodyguards. That's exactly what Leninism brings, and that's where we're going in this country, and that's what worries me. But you talk about Western Europe or Europeanizing the country. Absolutely, you hear it every day. You hear it. Well, that's one of the things that it's about, but part of that is de-emphasizing the power of the church. I think you'd have to agree with me.
I would. I mean, the secularists don't want any... Look, why is Mel Gibson being,
crucified?
Right. Pardon the pun. Because they don't want this movie to be seen by millions of people to regenerate interest in Jesus, who had a very strict moral code. They don't want any moral judgments. They want legalization of drugs, gay marriage. You go down the list, no moral judgments. You want to have two guys making out in front of your 4-year-old, it's okay with them. Guy smoking a joint, blowing a smoke into your little kid's face, okay with them. And I'm not exaggerating here. This is exactly what the secular movement stands
Bill,
for.
be
right
careful. You're overstating.
I'm not.
That,
I've
Bill.
seen both of those things happen.
I have too.
And I've
Bill,
confronted the people who did that.
Yeah.
And I know how they're thinking.
I raised children in San Francisco, Bill. It was not a pretty thing to walk down the street in this city and be sneered at as breeders by the effetes. Now, let me say this. We keep hearing about separation of church and state as though it's a reality when it's an invention. Why don't we hear about separation of degeneracy in state?
All right, but let me stop.
No, you go into a schoolroom. Wait, you go into a schoolroom. They're teaching kids in the 3rd grade how to put a condom on a cucumber.
Yeah, that's wrong.
I'd like to talk about that. Why do we hear about throw religion out?
You do, and you've made a lot of money talking about it. But I want to make one more point.
I have.
We got about 90 seconds to go.
I'm a capitalist, by the way.
Why do you want to demonize groups? See, I don't like it when you say the sodomites. I think that diminishes you. See, there are good gays and there are bad gays.
Well, I don't even want to talk about gay.
bad.
It's the most boring topic on the earth.
No, but you use inflammatory words
it's
like
boring.
Sodomites. Why?
I don't care. Well, you've asked me, I'll answer you.
Good.
Okay? I don't care what people do in the privacy of their own homes. I've said that 1,000 times. As long as children are left alone, as long as children are not proselytized, I don't care. It's not my business, hetero or homo or trisexual or bisexual or asexual. It doesn't matter to me. I think sexuality is boring, and I think it's very, very personal. Not an important topic to me.
All right, did you just say sexuality is boring? You've been working too much. All right, Michael Savage,
Okay,
there you go.
you got me there.
Right. Thanks a lot. We appreciate it. Next, very sad story. Actor John Ritter collapsed